And I'm Corey Crow. Don't forget to add your events this morning to the KEDM calendar, KEDM.org. Now, coming up on KEDM's calendar, we've got the big premiere of the movie Freeman. It's a documentary about the life of Freeman Stamper. We'll tell you about that and have more on that on our website, KEDM.org. Also, a big Bach cantata tomorrow night at Church of the Redeemer, the Geneva Academy, along with local artists performing. Wolfstock coming up this weekend as Lazar Park goes to the Dogs, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and the Louisiana Delta Community College Comic Con. That's going on Saturday as well. And The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe running at SYAA. Lots to do this weekend, and it's free and easy to do. Just add your events right now at KEDM.org. Welcome to Lagniappe, a program about events, issues, and people. I'm Corey Crow. I'm here today with Dr. John Sutherlin talking about a new movie that he's been working on for a long time. It'll be premiering tomorrow, and it is called Freeman. John, welcome.
Thank you, Corey. Always good to be here.
Thanks for being with us Tuesday night. Where's this movie premiering at?
It'll be at Brown Auditorium, 7 o'clock. Obviously free to students, faculty, and staff, $5 for the general public.
So let's talk a little bit about Freeman Stamper. Mm-hmm. Freeman was from Columbia.
Yep.
And
Louisiana.
Right. Not the country.
Right, not Medellin.
And went to school here at ULM.
Yes.
Grew up in a small community, faced a lot of problems. And then I didn't know any of this, and one day this guy walks in the radio station and was the nicest guy in the world and wanted to give back to, he liked public radio, and so he gave us a bunch of CDs.
Let me tell you what, one of the defining features of Freeman Stamper was that he was a generous person, very sweet spirit, one of the nicest people you ever meet. If he could help, he did. He had a wonderful motto that you give, even if it's something small, contribute, make your community better. And I'll tell you this, one of the things that comes through in the film is his unbelievable love for the university.
Let's talk a little bit about his life. He grew up in a small town, and he was gay.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you know, and maybe didn't even realize that he was until probably after college. And he was in the military. He graduated, and he had an option. He could either be drafted or volunteer to serve in Vietnam. And because he had gotten a degree here at ULM as a secretary, he was stationed at the Pentagon throughout Vietnam and ended up winning the highest non-combatant award for anybody in the military during Vietnam.
Freeman told me one time that he was the only man who had ever, at that point, men weren't secretaries. He was the only man that had gone through the secretarial science program at ULM.
And, you know, one of the things, obviously working on a film, you spend a lot of time with someone. And one of the things that was so amazing is how organized he was. And I mean, we were doing an interview one day and took a break, and he said, well, I've got this prop that he had bought at Sotheby's in New York from 1956, and we went in there, and I'm an opera fan too, and we were looking and talking. He had all these opera playbills organized by year and by theme and everything else, and he had all his pictures, and I thought, man, this is going to be an outstanding way to, categorize a film.
Freeman was married.
He was married briefly. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that until they'll see the film tomorrow night at 7, and he was married for a brief period of time as he was finishing up his service in the military. Obviously became estranged, divorced, and then went on with his life. I'll say this, one of the things that I found very interesting about Freeman is that he seemed to be in various historical moments at the right time. I mean, serving at the Pentagon and then coming out and adopting his drag persona. His drag persona was Stephanny. And people say, what? How? And I said, look, if you understand sort of old cabaret, like Berlin and Paris in the 1920s, if you understand cabaret, it makes a whole lot more sense. He gets involved in so many different causes, but one of the themes, as he becomes more and more successful, financially successful, he begins setting up scholarships and giving back. I mean, the reason that I knew who Freeman was in the early 90s is because of the Francis Morris Scholarship Fund that he had set up at the university. I mean, just a big, big heart.
The life turns, takes him to San Francisco. The height of, the gay movement was going on in San Francisco. And I saw the pictures of when I was over at Freeman's house of Stephanny.
Yeah.
He was big into a gay, and they were the women were the men in drag. They were a gay square dance club.
Listen, the first time I sat with him, and he explained that to me, and he said, "Do you understand?" I said, "Freeman, I understand what you did. I don't understand why you did it." He goes, "It's very simple. Towards the end of the 70s, early 80s, there were a lot of people who had come out, were in the discotheques, but wanted something more wholesome. Were tired of the drugs, the drinking, the craziness, and it was a natural fit. He was a country boy. He grew up in Columbia, just, 30 minutes south of here, and he wanted to do something like this. And so in square dancing, there's no drinking, no drugs. It's a social dance, like the cha-cha or the Charleston. And so it was a very interesting way for him to get involved and do something productive, and you can still mention his name among those people, and they all remember Freeman Stamper.
The movie will premiere tomorrow night about his life, and unfortunately, we lost Freeman here in just the last few months, right?
A little over a year ago. It's the only film of the 25 that I've ever done for PBS that the subject matter passed away during the production of it. I mean, we still had some more time that we needed to spend with him, more interviews, etc., more footage that we would have liked to have obtained. It really forced us to do some things very differently. However, this is the interesting piece to it. In the context of sort of the format of working on a documentary like this, you spend a year and a half, researching, producing, interviewing, the whole 9 yards. You don't just wake up one day and you've made a film. And so we were very good at staying on time, but because we had a very modest budget, modest access to footage, we had to seek out people from around the country. And so record companies, production houses, film studios, you name it, animation groups all over the country chipped in. And so when the project was finished, we went through the film festival process, and we've won so many awards around the world, and just over the weekend, we were notified that we had been accepted to the Monaco Film Festival, one of the premier film festivals in the world, certainly top 2 or 3 in Europe. And it's just a tremendous, I wish, it's one of those things where it's like, man, I wish Freeman could see how much people love his story and embraced him.
Tell me why you took this project, because this is sort of a strange subject to jump into.
Well, Freeman had called me about, a little over 2 years ago and was interested in me writing his biography. And I told him, I said, look, I'm in the middle of writing and finishing up my own trilogy that I'm working on right now. But then I thought about it. I called him. I said, hey, let's do a film. And he said, yeah.
John Sutherland, we're talking about Freeman And the premiere tomorrow night, big times.
Yep.
What time do you start?
7 o'clock. You can get there a little early. There'll be some music going on beforehand. You get there 6:30, and visit and talk and go from there.
And you're doing this where?
We're going to be at Brown Auditorium.
For folks to find out more about this film, how do they do that?
They can either email me, Sutherlin at ulm.edu, or just, call Brown Auditorium.
John Sutherlin. The film Freeman will premiere tomorrow. You can find out more about this and other events by heading to our website at KEDM.org.